I'm back. What I was going to get at on this video is they keep telling you, the government, financial people, and so on, keep saying, oh, 2024 is going to be bad, going to be bad. Boy, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. It's an election year. Traditionally, and we're not living in traditional times, but traditionally, things do better and go well in an election year, and then they'll screw it all up after that. But they got to get reelected. Well, let's put all that aside. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. So, by saying that, remember, we're not our forefathers, okay? We're not. We're cut from that. It's in our DNA. It's just we're not as tough as they are. Look around. Look, I'm talking on a damn computer. I mean, this is Star Trek shit. Yeah, people saw Star Trek. Wow, that's cool. It's reality, people. It's reality. And how much more stuff's out there they ain't telling you about. But I digress again. Go back to your forefathers. They survived. They survived. Look how many billions of people are out here. You know, we haven't had electricity. I mean, some of the farms didn't have electricity till like late 40s, or mid 50s. They didn't get the poles and stuff run out. 80 years, maybe 70 years. Some of these rural areas haven't had electricity for 70 years, 80 years. Out of all history, very short time. So they had to work. They didn't walk in and flip a light switch. That's not that long ago. But it seems like an eternity for people that didn't have to pump water, carry water, hunt for their food. You know, wake up in the dark, have to light the damn lantern. When you're living like we live in the world of convenience, yeah, that's pretty tough. It's scary. You know, oh man, how are we gonna survive this? People, it's in your DNA. It's there. Your forefathers, those rough individual that cut the way, cut the path, sailed the seas by the stars. The stars, people. Hell, I couldn't do it. It'd probably take a lifetime to teach me how. We got GPS. You know, you don't need to know any of that stuff. These people were smart. Captain a ship that way. At night, they could tell you exactly where they were. Those rugged individuals. And we're talking about ships, you know, they didn't have electricity. It was the wind and the currents. They didn't go down there and turn on a darn burner and cook a meal, and no. They still had to get the old fire going, stoke it. Probably many ships have burned up because the fire got out of control or something. Rough seas. Doesn't, you know. My point being is, your forefathers thrived. If they didn't thrive, we wouldn't have what we have. So if things get bad, of course, the government's going to tell you can't do this, can't do that. You have a right to survive. You have a right to live. And they do not have the right to tell you crap, even though they're going to tell you they do. I'm going to tell you the law, the ordinance, this, that, blah, blah. Tell you what, these people are going to have one hell of a reckoning if they actually believe their horseshit. When they Judgment Day is going to be, man, I tell you what, I'd like to just stand there and watch what goes on. I'd like to be just a spectator and watch what goes on. When they start asking these, God goes, what about, well, you can't lie to me. I mean, God's not going to sit here and you're not going to have a debate with him. Judgment is. Judgment is. Judgment is. You're going to know all your sins. It's amazing to think about this, but they say you only use 10% of your brain. Why do you think the other 90 is not being, quote, used? Does something happen when you die, when all of a sudden, boom, man, 100%, man, everything you did in your life, everything's just so vivid, and you know what you did, and then when God goes, and you're like, oh, man. Yeah, I thought he didn't know about that. It's God, people, he knows. But I keep digressing. That's my problem. But you need to practice your skills. Okay? It's getting cold out in parts of the country. And that's a good thing. Don't look at it as bad. Oh, God, it's cold. That's a good thing. You got a shed out back. You have a garage. You have a tent. You have all kinds of things. There's no reason why you can't develop your skills. Pull your lawnmower out of the shed. Maybe go buy some insulation and insulate that shed. Maybe see if you can find a little wood-burning stove that'll pipe right out and put a little chimney on the side of it. You can stay warm in case, the house gets cold. Shut your water off, buy some antifreeze, dump it down the traps. Waterproof your house. Drain the lines if you can. Go to the lowest pipe in the house after you shut your water off, your main, and drain the water out best you can. The lowest faucet, hot and cold. Drain the damn water tank if you have to so it doesn't burst. And then dump antifreeze down things. House can sit there if it's done properly, but learn how to do it. If you have to. If you don't, great. If you have to, at least you're prepared. Have yourself some wood sitting around. I don't care if they're just little branches and twigs and stuff like that. That's how you start a fire. A lot of people, a branch falls off, they bust it up, throw it in the, burn pile or burn it or throw it in the trash or whatever. Make yourself a little pile. Get yourself a tarp, cover it up. Oh, that's a nuisance, can't do that. Anyways, what I'm getting at is, if you got a privacy fence, you might end up having to start cutting the top foot of your privacy fence off. That one board goes around? Cut it right down there. You might have to go around the whole damn yard, cut off that top piece just to stay warm. And if it gets worse, you might have to go down a little bit further and cut that off to stay warm. Figure out in the house, well, we don't really use that table just to stay warm. Who cares? It's about surviving it. All I'm saying is you should go out and practice. Do you have to sleep out there all night? No, you can go out there and go, oh man, I'm cold now. I'm going inside. Yeah, I don't want you to get sick. I don't have pneumonia. I don't want you to have frostbite, things like that. Use your own judgment. But then you've learned something. You learned, well, I need this, I need this, I need this. try it again. Go out there and you're like, well, I'm a lot warmer now. It feels better. And you might figure out, well, I should have had this out here with me, or should have had that. So you can buy things and prep for things. And like I said, you're building your skill level. Teach your children these things. You know how little kids like to build forts and things like that, make pillows and take Afghans and stretch it over things and have like a little fort? You could learn something from them. You probably did that when you was a little kid, thinking it's cool. And it was. It was fun. Play actually turned into something that was useful. You can take your couch, right? You can take a damn uh, mattress and put a mattress here. What do you got? You got a, no, not a triangle, but you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like that, kind of like that. It's flat, the floor, couch, mattress. Cover up each end. Put some pillows down on one end. Cover up the other end with a blanket or whatever. And that little area, you might be surprised how warm you stay. Because it's trapping the heat in from your body. If you got a dog, cat, invite them in. It's just like people in hot areas. I've always found it sad and interesting at the same time that so and so died from heat stroke. Sitting in their house, they died from heat stroke. Well, they didn't have a fan. Okay, didn't have a fan. All right. They have running water. Climb under the shower. Fill the bathtub. You don't even have to fill the bathtub, but put some water in it. Cool yourself off. I always wondered why people would die of heat exposure when they didn't need to. You don't have that? Get a pan of water and sit there with a towel or whatever and just kind of just wring it over you and let it run down you or put it on you. Cool your body down. I just often wondered why. Ignorance. As people perish for the lack of knowledge. And that's what I'm saying. Get the skill level, the knowledge you need to survive. Build on it. Show your children. Do it with your children. Make a game out of it. Play. They'll think it's cool. It's like, man, we're going to do this little camping thing. We're going to have this fun. We're going to build a fort. All kinds of cool things. You don't have a fireplace in the house? A lot of people don't. You got to be careful, though. You don't want to catch the house on fire. There's a lot of things you don't want to do. But there's ways to stay warm. But you got to be careful, especially using a flame. I hate to go into some of that stuff because it could actually cause yourself a problem. More so. You might stay warm for a little bit as you're standing outside at your house or apartment or whatever is burning down. You'll stay warm for a little bit. Have a fire extinguisher. Know how to use it. Keep it handy. Maybe two. I got fire extinguishers all over here at every entrance. So if I have to get the hell out of here, at least I can grab a fire extinguisher. Or somebody can come in with a fire extinguisher, but they're all at the entrances and in the middle of the building and stuff. Keep them in tractors, keep them in my trucks, cars. I keep, first aid kits and stuff and everything. That's just being prudent. I don't know what the heck I'm going to be doing from minute to minute, and I can get hurt. Hey, look, I'm a successful farmer. Look, see, I got all my digits. See, that's my definition of a successful farmer. When I still have all my digits. But it's one of those things where go to some of your camping things. I can't remember the guy's name. I think he does a pretty good job. Lone Wolf Mountain or something like that. He seems like a good guy. Don't know him personally or nothing, but he seems like a good guy. I like watching him, now and then. I don't have all the time in the world, but I just watch what I can because I because I just like the guy. He's he's pretty funny. So well, I find him humorous, but that's what I'm saying. You need to get out and then watch some stuff and implement it. It's one thing. Oh, I'm an armchair whatever. Okay, great. You got all this. It's like people. I want to read self-help books. I read 750. What? What happened after a few? Why didn't you go implement the crap you've tried to learn? Why did you read 750 of them? It's like you're a little touched. You know? Watch some stuff, implement it, try it, see what works. See what works for you. See what works in your area. And so on and so forth. If you have valuables and things like that, put them in a put them in something so if you need to grab it, you can go. The rest of the stuff, dishes, pots, pans, end table, who cares? I mean, there's some stuff that's sentimental to you that you want to have and carry, and there's some things that's like, well, it's been in the family 100 years, but this big, hutch, it's like, would grandma, grandpa, and great grandma, grandpa, or whoever be upset with you if you had to burn it to stay warm? No, you know what the first thing they'd say to you? Burn it. Take care of yourself. Survive. Carry on. That's what they tell you. You're sitting there going, I got to preserve this. I got to do. If it comes down to you surviving, they say, sell it. Sell it. Get some damn money out of it. Don't go down with the ship. I got another thing on that too, which I'll watch for it. But anyways, they don't want you to go down. They don't want you to perish. They'd say, man, if the damn thing's made of wood and you're cold, burn it. Bust it up. I mean, think about it. Wouldn't you? If you had something that you bought and it's like, well, get rid of it. Sell it. Burn it. Do what you have to do to survive. Don't feel bad about it. They'd want you to do that. It's always interesting. It's always interesting. One thing you can never skimp on. I mean, if you don't have a lot of money, I understand. Maybe you can go to a garage sale, auction. Maybe a friend of yours has an extra knife or something, but you want a good knife. You want something that's a good blade. And if you get something that's got a little more multi-purpose to it, better yet. A Swiss Army knife is always nice to have. I mean, they make it criminal to carry a pocket knife. I've carried a pocket knife when I was going to first grade. I had a damn pocket knife. I've had one my whole life. I can't think of a time I've never had one. I mean, it's just something I've always had. But they make it crime because, you got a pocket knife, you got a concealed weapon. It's like, ain't got a concealed. It's a tool. Just like you're a tool for the government. I wouldn't suggest saying that to them, but you could think it. You could think it and laugh. They go, what are you laughing about? You don't want to know. But you understand what I'm saying. Build your craft. Learn. Study. It's great if you can find a book. A survival book. Military survival books are very good. And if you can find stuff like that, and if it's a really, really, really good book and it's highly recommended and people some of these people that do this camping stuff and this and that stuff, write them, email them, say, hey, what's a good survival book? And if they say, hey, this is really a good book and it's highly recommended, check it out. And if it is, yeah, let's say it's 40 or 50 bucks or more. It's like, if it's a really good book, it might be worth it. What's your life worth? If you can't afford that, you might have to buy some cheaper books. But if they make you think and they help you, that's what you want. Because it's like you may not have this. You may not be able to get on here. But I got a book. I could barely read, but I got a book because I went through the government training center. I could barely read, but hey, we'll struggle through this. It's got pictures. I could read. I could look at pictures. Okay. But I'm just making fun of the government. I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of the government. Taking a cheap shot at them. So, yeah, buy yourself a books. Buy yourself books on things. A lot of times sometimes libraries will discount the books. Sometimes you go to book fairs. I mean, all kinds of places you go. Yard sales, garage sales, auctions. I mean, they just want to basically give this stuff to you. 50 cents, a dollar. Here's a whole tote of books for $5. And the good thing about that is, too, think about that for 2 seconds. You got all these books, and 90% of them you don't want, right? Well, you get bored, you can read them. And once you get done reading it, you can tear the pages out of it to keep yourself warm. You can burn them. So they're actually coming multifaceted. It's just, you can use them for a lot of different things. And at the very end, keep warm. Magazines, newspaper, all kinds of things. You might not want to start, I know, make you sound like a hoarder. But if it helps you survive, then stack it. Keep it. It may help you. You got some socks that got some holes in them. You're gonna throw them away. It's like, well, you know what? They got holes in them, but you know what? It's an extra pair of socks to put on. Maybe 2 pair, 3 pair to keep my feet warm. And if they're clean, even if they're not clean, hell, mittens for your hands. It's like, man, my gloves ain't cutting it. These gloves are cold. It's like, so put them on your hands. Got a little kid, hands cold. Put 2 or 3, layer them up. Learn things and techniques to keep yourself warm in a cold climate. If it snows, that's great. You got water. I mean, you go out there and you fill a pan, big pan like this of snow, you're going to have very little water. But it's still, go out there and do it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Pile it. Keep stockpiling. Keep adding. Just don't sit there and go, oh, we got this much water. Oh, we're good. No, keep adding and adding and adding. And put it in jugs or whatever containers you have and stuff. That's good. Gotta have water. But, like I said, survive. It's in your DNA. Your forefathers and your great grandmas and grandpas and all these people, and God Almighty wants you to survive. So, I'll get off here. I don't know if it's informative or not. I could go on and on about things. The biggest thing, though, is buy what you can afford, but buy yourself a good pair of boots. Boots. Not flip-flops. Not, I don't know what the hell all this other stuff's called. I know flip-flops. Those ain't shoes, people. They make hiking like tennis shoe things. That's better than nothing. But if you can buy a good pair of boots that fit you and break them in, don't go, oh, I got a good pair of boots sitting over there. Break them in. Buy some good mink oil or something like that, and kind of keep them. Best to buy some waterproof already, Gore-Tex or something, waterproof boots. If you don't have that, rubber boots you're okay, but you get a pair of wicking socks and stuff like that. Same thing with like undershirts and stuff, wicking, because it helps keep you. You don't want to be sweating and 10 below, but you don't want to freeze either. Anyways, I could go. This is something I could go on and on and on and on and on about. And I touched base on it in marriage and stuff like that, because a couple going out to build a bond, to know they can rely on that person. That's a good way. You're learning. You're learning what that person's capable of, what they're not capable of, and also whether you can rely on them or not. Are they just going to lay there in a fetal position and go, "Oh my God, what do we do? We're going to die"? Dude, you want to go do that? I'll find somebody else before the shit hits the fan. That isn't going to lay here in the fetal position. You know, you're going to have to be able to rely on that person. Try to get yourself in some sort of shape. If you're not, try. I've talked about that before too. Little exercise, some jumping jacks, some frogs, some push-ups, just anything. It doesn't matter. Just try to strengthen yourself up. Don't overdo it at first. Just do not. Do a little bit and don't overdo it, because the next day or two you'll be like, "Yeah, I can hardly move my arms." It's like, don't do that. It's like, "Oh, I can do all these, boy. I did a whole bunch." And the next few days you're like, "Gosh dang, I wish I wouldn't have done that." You'll learn if you did it. You'll know. So, y'all take care. We're all praying for each other. And God Almighty is watching over you.